It was a quiet Sunday morning in the idyllic town of Elmridge, Oregon. The kind of place where time seemed to slow down. A place where people still left their doors unlocked without a second thought, trusting in the safety of their community, and where everyone knew your name and your family history. But on this particular Sunday, at precisely 7:14 a.m., neighbor Kathy Miles, while retrieving her morning paper, noticed something amiss. The Dawson family's front door was ajar. A sense of unease washed over her. By 7:16, driven by a gut feeling that something was wrong, she dialed 911. Local police units arrived at the Dawson residence at 7:27. 27, sirens silent out of respect for the peaceful morning. Inside, everything looked untouched, almost staged. The TV was still on, broadcasting the morning news to an empty living room. A bowl of cereal sat soggy and forgotten on the dining table, a testament to a morning routine abruptly interrupted. The family's golden retriever, Max, usually a picture of calm, was barking anxiously, pacing back and forth near the front door, sensing the unsettling void. And the refrigerator door was still open, casting an eerie glow into the otherwise normal kitchen. But the Dawsons, David 39, Rachel 36, and their two children, Lily 9 and James 6, had vanished without a trace. No struggle, no signs of a fight. No blood offering no clues. No signs of forced entry, deepening the mystery. Detective Carla Hayes, a seasoned investigator with years on the force, was first on the scene. She surveyed the unsettling stillness of the house, her mind already piecing together the puzzle. Her initial words, quote, "It felt like they just evaporated into thin air. One moment they were here, living their lives. The next moment, completely gone, vanished without a trace. A pot of coffee, half brewed, still warm, as if someone had just stepped away for a moment. Rachel's purse, sitting neatly on the counter, her wallet partially visible inside, seemingly untouched. David's car keys still dangled from the ignition of the family SUV, parked in the driveway, as if they were planning on using it later. But all four cell phones belonging to the family, missing without a trace. A detail that immediately raised red flags. Security footage recovered from across the street shows David casually taking out the trash at 9:42 p.m. the night before the disappearance. Nothing after that. The street remained quiet, undisturbed. The Dawson family was last seen by a pizza delivery driver who dropped off their order at 9:51 p.m. He recounted the seemingly normal interaction. Quote, "Rachel answered the door. She smiled warmly, said thanks politely. I could hear the kids laughing in the background. Seemed like a normal family. Nothing strange or out of the ordinary. But the pizza box, still sitting on the kitchen counter, never opened, the stickers still sealed, untouched. No fingerprints were found, meticulously dusted. No sign of forced entry. No indication of anyone else entering or leaving the premises. And then came something even stranger. A palpable sense of unease that settled over the investigation. Back in Lily's bedroom, investigators meticulously combed through her belongings, searching for any clue that might shed light on the family's disappearance. Among her personal items, they discovered her diary, a small pink book filled with a child's innocent thoughts, but also, chillingly, something more. The last entry, scrawled in a child's handwriting, sent shivers down their spines. It read, "Mom says the man in the hallway is just a dream, but James saw him too. He said the man talked to him when we were sleeping." A disturbing revelation, hinting at a shared, terrifying experience. When questioned about these alleged nightmares and the mysterious figure, family friend Julie Trenton offered a glimpse into Lily's state of mind. Quote, "Lily had nightmares for weeks. She'd tell me she didn't want to sleep in her room. Said someone watched her through the window. I told Rachel, but she just thought it was imagination. And then, Adding another layer of mystery to this already perplexing case, there was the voicemail. David's sister received a chilling message at 2:14 a.m., just hours after they vanished without a trace. A desperate attempt to communicate, or something far more sinister. In it, a whisper barely audible, almost lost in the static, 3 words that sent a wave of dread through everyone who heard it. Don't look back. Audio analysis definitively confirmed that the call originated from David's own phone. Adding another layer of complexity to the investigation. But the signal's origin told a different story. It pinged from a cell tower 47 miles away, deep within the dense, unforgiving woods near the imposing Mount Abel, a remote and unsettling location, far from their home. Search teams were dispatched. 3 days later, they found a shoe. Lilies, pink with a butterfly charm. Beside it, scratch marks on a tree, like someone clawed it in panic. The bark read, "We're not alone." And then nothing. No further signs. No bodies. No footprints. No bodies. The fridge, still a chilling detail. Investigators say it suggests one thing: the family left in the middle of something. Urgently. Abruptly. Without intention. Today, the Dawson home sits untouched. A time capsule. The refrigerator, still open. The dog, rehomed. But their story remains suspended in silence. A family of 4, gone. No trace, no answers, only whispers. And one final question. What made them leave? And who, or what, did they see before they vanished? The silence surrounding the Dawson disappearance is broken only by the voices of those who lived nearby. In the weeks that followed, townspeople began to share their stories. Each account paints a picture more unsettling than the last. A neighbor, Mrs. Carter, recalls, "I heard banging like something heavy, dragged across the floor. It was past midnight. I thought it was just the wind, but it sounded wrong." Another resident, Mr. Alvarez, describes, "I saw a figure, tall, wearing a hood, standing by their mailbox. Didn't move, didn't look up, just stood there for an hour." But not all stories align. The teenager Chloe insists she saw the Dawson family leaving together, quietly, bags in hand, while her brother swears he heard shouting and saw only shadows darting behind drawn curtains. Others mention flickering lights in the woods behind the house, strange vehicles idling late at night, a dog barking, then suddenly silent. Each statement, a fragment, each detail, a thread leading deeper into confusion. The town is left with more questions than answers. What really happened that night? And who, if anyone, is telling the truth? As the sun sets over the empty Dawson home, the whispers grow louder. The mystery remains unsolved, but the echoes of that night linger, haunting everyone who dares remember. As dawn breaks, the investigation takes a chilling turn. Official records begin to surface. Fragments of police interviews, radio transmissions, and hastily scribbled evidence logs. Unit 4. We've got muddy footprints leading from the back door into the woods. They don't match any family member. Interview with Mrs. Carter, 10:17 a.m. She claims she heard dragging sounds. Timeline matches the unidentified prints. Evidence log, one torn piece of red fabric caught on a nail by the cellar window. Analysis pending. We found writing on the hallway wall. It's strange, says. Not alone. Never alone. Looks like it was scratched in with something sharp. Dispatch. This is Unit 2. Can you check if the Dawsons owned a dog? Neighbors say it barked until 1:23 a.m. Then nothing. No sign of the animal. As these unsettling details emerge, the picture grows darker. The muddy footprints vanish at the tree line. No sign of where they lead. The torn fabric doesn't match any clothes found in the house. The cryptic message, chilling in its simplicity, offers no answers, only more dread. Each transcript, each piece of evidence, deepens the sense that something unnatural unfolded that night. The truth remains just out of reach, hidden in static and shadows, as the investigation circles ever closer to the unknown. Just when the investigation seems to reach a dead end, a late-breaking call comes in to the police tip line. A neighboring farmer, Mr. Holloway, reports finding something unusual on the edge of his field, just beyond where the muddy footprints disappeared. The footage shows officers combing the dew-soaked grass at dawn. They discover a small, battered cassette tape, half buried in the mud, marked only with the words P-A-M-E in shaky handwriting. The tape is rushed to the station. As investigators play the recording, a distorted, static-filled voice echoes through the speakers. It's impossible to tell who is speaking, but the message is unmistakable. You're looking in the wrong place. I was never alone. Neither are you. A faint, rhythmic tapping can be heard in the background, almost like footsteps or a heartbeat. The team scrambles to trace the origin of the tape, but there are no fingerprints, no identifying marks, nothing but the chilling voice and the sense of being watched. As the video fades, the narrator whispers, "The case remains unsolved. The truth is still out there, lurking in the shadows. And somewhere, someone is still watching." The screen cuts to black, leaving viewers with only questions and the haunting echo of that final message. As the investigation stalls, a fresh wave of fear sweeps through the quiet town. Days after the mysterious tape surfaces, new witnesses come forward, each with their own unsettling recollections from the night the Dawsons vanished. The screen flickers with shadowy silhouettes and blurred faces, voices disguised for anonymity. First, an elderly woman recounts, "I heard a car door slam around midnight, but it wasn't from the Dawsons' house. It was farther down the lane near the old mill. I saw two figures there, but one seemed to disappear into the dark. A young man," voice trembling, adds, "I was walking my dog when I heard chanting. It was coming from the woods. I thought it was kids playing a prank, but the voices didn't sound right. Too deep. Too many at once." Another, a local shopkeeper, insists, "The Dawson's porch light flickered off and on all night. That's not normal. And I swear I saw someone standing by their mailbox, someone tall wearing a hood. When I blinked, they were gone." Each account contradicts the timeline and details provided in earlier statements, muddying the already murky waters of the case. Some speak of strange lights moving through the fields. Others mention the sound of glass breaking or the feeling of being watched from the tree line. As their voices overlap, the tension builds. The narrator's voice returns, low and urgent. These chilling new testimonies cast doubt on everything investigators thought they knew. The truth slips further from their grasp while fear and suspicion take root in the hearts of the townspeople. What really happened that night? And what secrets are still waiting to be uncovered? The screen fades to black, leaving only the echo of whispered fears and the creeping sense that the mystery is far from over. The darkness thickens as we gain access to unreleased police transcripts, fragments of conversations never meant for the public. The screen pulses with static and flickering text, the words of officers and investigators echoing through the void. "Dispatch, Unit 4, do you copy? There's disturbance reported at the old mill. Any visual on suspects? Officer 1, voice shaky. Negative. Saw movement, but it's gone. Like this, Sarge. Feels off? Interviewer. You're saying the evidence bag was empty? Evidence tech. Yes, sir. The glass shard gone. I logged it last night. I swear. Interviewer. Any sign of forced entry to the evidence room? Evidence tech? No. Cameras glitched. Timestamp 2:13 a.m. Just static. Officer 2. Did you hear that chanting again? Out by the woods. Officer 3. Yeah. And I'm not going back out there alone. Not after what happened to Dawson's dog. Memo subject missing files. Several interview tapes unaccounted for. Last known location, Detective Harris's desk. Harris on leave. Refuses to speak to anyone. Officer 1. Something's wrong with this case. Too many dead ends. People are scared. I'm scared. Every fragment tells a story the public was never meant to hear. Evidence vanishing, officers shaken, and a chilling sense that someone, or something, wants the truth buried. As the static fades, one question lingers. If the authorities are this afraid, what are they really up against? The investigation takes a chilling turn. In the early morning fog, officers discover a trail of footprints, bare, elongated, and unlike anything cataloged in police records. The prints lead deep into the woods, circling back in patterns that form strange, interlocking symbols pressed into the earth. A forensic team kneels beside the markings, exchanging uneasy glances. These aren't animal. They're not human either, whispers one investigator, voice trembling. The camera lingers on a gloved hand tracing the outline of a symbol. 3 concentric circles, each intersected with jagged lines. Back at headquarters, a technician analyzes an audio recording captured from the evidence room the previous night. Static dominates the tape, but beneath it, a low rhythmic chanting rises and falls. Voices speaking in a language no one recognizes. The room grows silent as the team listens, faces pale with dread. Suddenly, a detective bursts in, holding a weathered scrap of paper. This was tucked inside the evidence bag, she says, her voice barely steady. The paper bears the same cryptic symbols found in the forest, drawn in what appears to be dried blood. The pieces don't fit. Every new clue only deepens the mystery. As investigators stare at the strange symbols and listen to haunting audio, one thing becomes clear. Whatever left these marks is still out there, and it knows they're getting closer. The chapter closes on a final, disturbing discovery. A fresh set of footprints, leading not away from the scene, but directly toward the investigators' parked vehicles. The sense of unease is palpable. The mystery has just grown darker and far more personal. The woods near Mount Abel are cloaked in a heavy mist. The woods near Mount Abel are cloaked in a heavy mist, the sun barely piercing. They're cloaked in a heavy mist, the sun barely piercing the dense canopy. Detective Carla Hayes and Julie Trenton move quietly among the ancient trees, their breath visible in the cold morning air. The camera lingers on their faces, determined but haunted as they follow a faint trail. Hayes, come here as a kid, she confides. After my brother disappeared, I'd walk these woods for hours. Down there as a kid, she confides. After my brother disappeared, I'd walk these woods for hours, hoping for a sign. I never found one. A flashback flickers across the screen, a young Carla searching desperately, her face streaked with tears. The forest. Swallowing her cries, Julie hesitates, then stops. She pulls a worn envelope from her pocket. Hands trembling, Rachel gave me this the week before she vanished. She says softly, she said, if anything happened, I should show you. Inside is a small leather-bound journal and a map, edges burned, marked with the same strange symbols found in the earth. Hayes opens the journal. Her hands shaking, the pages are filled with Rachel's looping script entries about secret meetings in the woods, cryptic warnings, and names neither woman recognizes. The map is even more unsettling, with routes traced in red leading to places marked only by numbers and symbols. A deep bond forms between the two women as they piece through the clues, their shared pain surfacing in raw, honest conversation. Hayes confesses her guilt and fear, Julie her regret for not coming forward sooner. The woods seem to close in around them, amplifying every sound, every memory. Suddenly, a twig snaps nearby, both women freeze. Hearts pounding, the camera cuts to a shadow moving just out of sight, the journal clutched tight in Hayes' grip. Whatever secret the woods hold is clear. They're not alone. As the scene ends, the camera lingers on the cryptic map, the symbols glowing faintly in the dim light. That scene ends. The camera lingers on the cryptic map, the symbols glowing faintly. The symbols glowing faintly in the dim light. As the investigation deepens, a new name rises to the surface. David Dawson. Once a quiet analyst at the local library, David's life was far more complex than anyone realized. Flickering computer screens and encrypted chat logs fill the frame, layered with digital overlays and lines of code. Investigators pore over evidence, late-night messages on obscure forums, usernames linked to arcane topics, all pointing to a secretive online community obsessed with the supernatural. Colleagues describe David as increasingly withdrawn, haunted by something unseen. In shadowed interviews, friends recall his paranoia, the way he jumped at sudden noises, and his obsession with tracking unexplained phenomena. He stopped talking to us, one friend admits, voice trembling. It was like he was searching for answers only he could see. Flashbacks showed David hunched over his computer, eyes darting to the window, scribbling notes in a battered journal. His family, interviewed in silhouettes, speak of his growing distance. Long nights spent online, strange symbols scrawled in the margins of his notebooks, and an unshakable fear that drove him further from those who loved him. Was David chasing a legend or running from something real? As investigators dig deeper into his digital footprint, a troubling possibility emerges. David may have uncovered something in the darkness, something that connects him to the missing. The camera lingers on a final image. David's username blinking on a deserted forum, a single message left unread. The secrets he kept may hold the key to everything, but at what cost? The truth about David Dawson is only beginning to surface, and with it, new shadows fall across the case. Rachel's handwriting trembles across the faded pages of her journal, each word weighted with worry and love. In the soft glow of a bedside lamp, her sister's voice fills the room, reading Rachel's final entries, words laced with fear for her children and uncertainty about David's unraveling obsession. Cut to warm, intimate flashes. Rachel tucking her children into bed, brushing a tear from her daughter's cheek, whispering promises of safety. But the camera lingers on her anxious eyes, searching the shadows outside the window. Her sister's interview overlays these memories. She was scared, but she never let it show in front of the kids. She told me, "I have to protect them, no matter what." A tense close-up reveals Rachel, clutching her journal, scrawling a hidden message and tucking it deep inside a family photo album. One last plea for help. addressed to Detective Hayes. The flashback intensifies. Rachel stands in the hallway, listening to David's frantic typing, her hand hovering over the door handle. That night, she made a choice, one that changed everything. The scene ends with the discovery of her hidden note, the words echoing in Hayes' mind. If anything happens, start with David. Protect the children. Trust no one. Rachel's courage and heartbreak pulse through every frame, her story forever entwined with the mystery. Her choice, a beacon in the darkness. The Dawson home, draped in the uneasy calm of midnight. Shadows flicker along the hallway as the clock ticks toward the unknown. In this reconstructed tapestry of memory, we witness the family's final night. Each heartbeat, each whisper, captured from 4 trembling perspectives. David sits at his desk, eyes wide, hands shaking over the keyboard. The glow of his screen reflects cryptic symbols and frantic searches. He mutters under his breath, "They're coming. I know it." His journal lies open to a page filled with frantic scrawl. Half warnings, half apologies. Rachel stands at the bedroom door, clutching her children close. She listens to the muffled chanting drifting from the basement, low and unnatural, a rhythm that chills her soul. Her lips brush Lily's forehead, promising safety even as her own fear threatens to break her. Lily, small and silent, peeks through the crack in her bedroom door. She sees the strange figure outside in the garden, its face obscured, its presence wrong. She draws her brother James back from the window, whispering, "Don't look. Don't let it see you." James clutches a flashlight, the beam trembling as he scans the walls. He notices new symbols scratched into the wood, glowing faintly in the dark. His voice is barely a breath. "Mom, what does it mean?" The scenes spiral together. David's frantic typing, Rachel's desperate prayers say, his children's wide, terrified eyes. The chanting grows louder, the symbols pulse, and the shadow moves closer to the house. The family gathers in the living room, holding hands. Rachel whispers, "Stay together, no matter what." The last moments blur, overlapping voices, the flicker of lights, the pounding at the door. The camera pulls back, leaving only silence and the echo of Rachel's promise. "I will protect you." And then darkness. The truth behind the chanting, the symbols, and the figure remains hidden in the silence of that final night. The Dawson family's last stand, immortalized in memory and mystery. Sunrise spills over Elmridge, its golden light casting away the shadows of the Dawson mystery. Detective Hayes stands at the edge of the woods, the case files clutched in his hands, pages of pain and perseverance at last settled. As he walks through the quiet streets, memories of the family linger in every window and doorstep, woven into the fabric of the town. Hayes' voice, steady but touched with emotion, recounts the journey, the evidence, the interviews, the secrets that haunted the Dawsons. It was never just one answer, he reflects. Fear twisted their reality, but something else, something unexplainable, was always there. They fought to protect each other, even when the world refused to believe their story. The camera glides over scenes of healing, Julie placing flowers at a memorial for the Dawsons, neighbors gathering in silent solidarity, children chalking hopeful messages on the sidewalk. The town, once gripped by suspicion and grief, now breathes easier, united by remembrance and resolve. In a final, private moment, Hayes visits the spot where the Dawsons' trail vanished. He kneels, closing his eyes, offering a quiet promise. "You will not be forgotten. Your story will be told." As the sun rises higher, Elmridge is transformed, its scars softened, its people stronger. The mystery may never have a perfect answer, but in the light of a new day, hope endures. The Dawsons' courage and the love they shared echo on, reminding us that even in darkness, there is always a way back to the light. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more mysteries and true crime investigations.